It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. We'll get to yesterday's political news in just a moment. This is actually political news, but of a different type here. But we got to make sure we get other stuff in here because we got to clear the desk off because it's the end of the week. We're not running for the door yet. We're not trying to get out of work early. We're going to be here till the end. It's just there's a few other stories that we think you'd like. Mm-hmm. A Los Angeles Times editorial is asking for a do-over in the plastic bag ban that actually led to more plastic waste. According to a recent report, after California became the first state in 2016 to ban single-use plastic grocery bags, the thicker convenience totes that took their place as reusable,
which aren't,
and recyclable,
which aren't,
alternative, weren't actually reused and actually are not recyclable.
There you go.
In fact, the study finds the total amount of trash from plastic bags that California sends to landfills has never been higher.
People just decided, oh, no, I'll just pay for it. I'll pay for the bag, and they're using more, and they still send them to the landfill.
In February, the LA Times reported on a study which looked at the impact of the plastic bag ban implemented 10 years ago as an effort to reduce the amount of plastic waste and encourage the public to use reusable bags. A loophole allowed businesses to offer thicker reusable plastic bags at a checkout for a smaller fee, but many consumers threw those out after a single use as well.
Right.
But the editorial board now claims no one is to blame for this bad situation. No loopholes were exploited. There were no shady moves. No, the law was wrong.
Well, yeah, that's where the wrong came in. No one's to blame. Well, yeah, the people who created the law. You charged people extra money.
Right.
And it didn't do anything.
Retailers handed them out like candy, and consumers couldn't have recycled them even if they wanted to. No recycling facility in the state accepts these bags, the editorial read.
Exactly.
Well, then there is somebody to blame.
Yeah.
The people who made the law when the infrastructure wasn't ready for the law. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yep. By the way, this isn't the first time the LA Times has taken on things like this. They talked about recycling in general and how so many people in California had this wish thing when it came to recycling. Like, well, this pizza box only has one grease stain. The reality was, the LA Times found, one tiny grease stain, they're not going to sit there and cut the grease stain out of it. At the recycling place, it goes in the trash. And they found the overwhelming majority of stuff was going in the trash because people didn't understand how to recycle and had this wish, well, or this should be okay to recycle. And the fact of the matter is, this is it. Look, when it comes to the whole recycling thing, I don't like waste. I don't like wasting materials. But this delusional thought of we can recycle and it can come back around, and then the law dictates that you got to buy something that is, I don't know, made of at least 50% recycled material. Well, who actually oversees all that? Where's the oversight on all that? And you can't put this in that container in terms of disposing it or putting it in your trash can or recycling can. Who's following through? You know, a lot of the cities now, they dole out, they have the The private sector has taken over. So it's not actually your city that picks up your garbage or your recycling. It's a company that does it. They have a contract with your city. Where's the follow-through? Where's the oversight? Well, when they went in to do, and the media went in to look into it, in the case of recycling in California, they found, nope, a huge chunk of it, most of it goes in the garbage. And now you have this ridiculous law that comes in. We've seen this happen in different cities. There was it was a city ordinance in Dallas for a while, I think, and then they rescinded it. 5 cents a bag. And it didn't work. It's not going to work. You're not going to change people's behavior. So we get into the whole, we got to outlaw this and outlaw that. Parts of California. No more single-use plastic. I don't know if that's now the entire state. I know a number of cities have that. So you can't sell bottled water. It has to be in a glass bottle. Can't be single-use. And people have to pay premiums for that, and it does nothing. It's all garbage, starting with the laws.
All right, here we go. Kamala's talking. Harris talked yesterday twice. Not long. And one over a very loud jet engine where she was asked about stolen valor and didn't answer the question because they can't. Also, she went down the line greeting people and a reporter. She did take a reporter's question, but did not answer the question. Here we go.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this vote, however.
Didn't want to answer that question. Walked away. Here's interesting. A majority of voters want Trump and Harris to debate twice.
Yeah.
According to a new poll, 70% of voters think the presidential frontrunners should take part in both the Fox News and ABC News debates next month, according to the results of the latest national survey of 1,000 registered voters. Only 17% said the two should not debate. The poll found that 77% of voters who support Trump and 67% of Harris voters would like the candidates to appear in 2 debates, one hosted by Fox and once on ABC. Now, as we know, Trump yesterday in the speech, and by the way, I gave him a B+ yesterday, and if you ask why, we had touched on this earlier in the show, and you can listen to more specific detail to our podcast when it comes out here in a little bit. But when you look at what was the narrative at the end of the day, that's how I judge a Trump press conference or a Trump speech. What is the media covering by the time you get to the end of the day? Everything is still on Harris and Walz. Everything.
Yep.
He wasn't a perfect speech, but he didn't get himself into anything that the media is talking about even 6 hours later. They're all talking about why Harris, even though she took a couple of questions, still won't do a press conference, still won't do an interview, still won't answer the question because she's the one. Trump successfully turned that around. We said last week when Trump said, well, I don't know if I'm going to do a debate. It's like, no. When you answer that question, don't say, I don't know, because then she said, see, he doesn't want to debate me. And then everybody said, well, wait a minute. Trump didn't pull out of the debate. Biden did. This wasn't your debate. So that sort of at that point didn't matter as much. But then when Trump said last week he didn't know, they pounded him. Now it goes back to favor Trump because Trump says, I'll do 3. And I've already got the deal done with ABC, NBC, and Fox. Now all it is up to you. So she's asked, and she knew this question was coming. She knew. And just said, I'm glad he agreed to the September 10th one and then walked away. Well, what about, didn't even pay attention. And he was yelling loud enough where she heard him. So the other thing is when she came out with the statement or in another quick interview that you haven't done any interviews or whatever, they're looking into arranging some kind of interview by the end of the month. Now, as you asked, you don't know if by the end of the month they're going to arrange an interview that might be even a month from then, or whether they want to get an interview by the end of the month. But think about this. They are absolutely paranoid. And now with Walz, what do you do if you're him? How does he answer? He's either got to come, look, yeah, I BS'd about my service. Or he's got to stand up and say, I didn't. And when Harris didn't address it yesterday, just gave the generic, we honor everybody who's ever served, that's not answering the question, and everybody knew it.
Nope.
This isn't going to go away for Walz. And the thing was, he was supposed to be the guy that would be out there. He's supposed to be the pit bull. He's supposed to be the one taking the questions.
And now he's a liability.
Yep.
And this is the problem that you have. My question is, did the Harris campaign not vet him properly? Or did they not care? Certainly they must have vetted him because this is not new. These allegations against him are not new. They didn't just appear. They've been around. Because those who served with him that are complaining about it, that are issuing their grievances here, didn't want him to be governor. They don't want him to be governor of their state. So this isn't new. And I saw some of that, by the way, that was quashed almost immediately. Oh, they're just bringing this up because, nope, it's not new. And either they didn't vet him or they didn't care. They probably didn't care. But you be the Midwesterny, folksy guy. You know, the neighborly socialist.
The neighborly socialist, right.
And you want him to connect with the Midwesterners. That's now off the table because this kind of dishonesty is not to be tolerated. This kind of stolen valor will not be tolerated at all. Because I can't tell you what a political fix is here. Aside from him being off the ticket completely. That's really the only fix, and you do that, and that's also damaging. It's not really a fix. So I don't know where it goes.
Well, remember,
because there's just no way around that. And what about Kamala Harris? She's got to now go talk to the media. The questions are going to come up for her. Well, didn't you vet him? Did you know about this?
Well, then it's going to be crazy today because it was on social media late yesterday afternoon and through the night, but it's going to go super viral, is, you know, the fact that the side-by-side of Kamala Harris, both in Wisconsin and Michigan, giving the exact same speech. To the point where they play one next to another. It's almost as if she's got dual lead singers.
Yeah.
It's like almost overdubbing.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is, because then the thing is, okay, you're only going to talk on the teleprompter. You won't do an interview. Remember, she said they'll arrange an interview. She said nothing about doing any type of press conference where she would take calls. And even on MSNBC, they were saying, well, she says she talks to reporters on the plane off the record.
Off the record.
Well, it doesn't mean anything. Nothing. And I was reading National Review. They were saying, these reporters, you know, they don't care about doing their job. And to that National Review reporter, I just can't remember who it was. It's in my pile of stuff. Stop it. Stop calling them reporters. They're not reporters. They're political activists.
Right.
To stop conservatives, please stop pretending that the mainstream media cares about journalism, or stop saying they're not doing their job. They are doing their job. They're political activists. They're not journalists. Stop pretending that they're part of the problem is conservatives who won't admit that they're not journalists and we hope they become journalists someday. Not their role.
Nope.
They're political activists. It should be clear. Let's stop fooling ourselves. But here's this is going to go. This is going to go viral for a while, and this adds to the problem because why? It's humorous. It's hilarious. This is the kind of thing that gets into pop culture.
So good to be back in Michigan. Listen, let me tell you, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds and had a summer job at McDonald's. I had a summer job at McDonald's. So hear me when I say, hear me, Detroit, when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. And are we ready to fight for it? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
Wow. No, it's not contrived at all. There's nothing about this situation that's contrived.
And
how dare you?
And it's not. I think she has gone over those speeches over and over again with the same inflection.
It's the same inflection.
It's
it's like a movie script. Wow. Yeah, that's bad.
One suggestion to the Harris campaign: don't start saying "fight with me, fight with me."
Yeah, yeah. You can avoid that.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
A new way of doing business through USDA Farm Service Agency farm loan programs, and in turn, increase flexibility and resiliency for ag producers/borrowers. As FSA Administrator Zach Ducheneau explained to reporters Thursday,
I think that these changes to the terms are really transformative. We're really proud of all three of these provisions that we've lifted up. Any of them on their own would be a great transformation, but taken as a collective, this really signals a new day in ag finance where FSA is going to position itself as the leader and the example for how our friends in the lending community might consider doing this.
The changes scheduled to take effect September 25th include a new low-interest installment set-aside program for financially distressed borrowers, improved repayment terms to increase borrower financial flexibility, and reduced additional loan security requirements to enable borrowers to leverage equity. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up, more audio on this presidential race. The other thing, too, we'll talk about is that very unusual. The Rasmussen polling head guy, Mark Mitchell, was out there yesterday and came out and said, Harris is not winning.
Right.
And they came out with their poll that Trump's up 5 and has been up 5 consistently. And he's like, they're not winning. And CNBC's came out with their poll after that, late yesterday afternoon, showing Trump also in the lead. So we'll get to that and more on the way.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And it's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So we're on a Friday, so in the last half hour, sometimes we go to the Babylon Bee to see some of the headlines. But I will say that maybe one of the most entertaining headlines that seems like a Babylon Bee headline is not. It's actually a legitimate headline. You ready?
All right.
Harris campaign declined requests for comment about why Harris declines request for comment. Vice President Kamala Harris's 2024 presidential campaign reportedly declined requests for comment about when Harris will stop declining the media's request for comments. You can't make this stuff up. Trump, now this is a Babylon Bee headline, this next one. Trump concerned that if he beats Kamala in debate, they might replace her with someone good this time. That's the other one that I liked. Journalists confused by presidential candidates standing in front of cameras and answering questions. Wow. They got you in here too, huh? Says Biden as Dems lock Kamala in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I like that one. That's good. Oh, my gosh. Tim Walz clarifies that he's never been to Iraq, but he's been to downtown Minneapolis, which is basically the same thing.
Well.
Oh, my gosh. Brutal. Headlines. All right. Let me get my bearings here. All right, here we go. Oh,
all right.
And here's the meme of the week.
Okay.
Because actually the headline there from Breitbart, Harris campaign declined requests for comment about why Harris declines requests for comment. This, which is true. This one also is true. It's a meme. It's a long meme.
Mm-hmm.
One of the longest memes I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Democratic Party be like, if you want to save democracy, you'll vote for this candidate we installed after lying to you about the incumbent's health to prevent a primary that you could have participated in. Also, the candidate we selected was polling in the single digits when she tried to become the president in a fairer primary. So that's why we had to rig it for her. So get out there, Democrats, and save democracy.
It's funny because it's true.
One of the many reasons when you see, again, what's going on right now, and as I said yesterday, Trump, he's always got, we played Vance the other day, and he's perfect. I had no objection to anything he said in his speech or when he walked over to the reporters near Kamala's plane, which was just absolutely classic. And I forgot whether it was on MSNBC or I saw it on social media somewhere. Like, how dare Vance do that? He invaded a woman's space. He threatened a woman by going over there. He basically threatened a woman. This from the party that advocates that men should compete against women in sports and men should be able to go into girls' bathrooms.
You know what you get when you do that? Then you occupy a woman's space in the Olympics. You get a gold medal in boxing. That's what you get.
So you've got J.D. Vance going over there and the left freaking out and saying that's threatening to women. Isn't that, again, since we talked about compassionate racism, isn't that compassionate misogyny?
Yeah.
That Kamala Harris, if a man comes over politically, she's running for president of the United States.
She's also running from the media.
Yeah. But isn't that compassionate misogyny? Well, he's brutal. She can't handle that. This is violence towards women. This was a threat towards a woman's space. This is in the arena of political ideas on an airport tarmac with one or two reporters and hundreds of left-wing political activists pretending to be reporters. They're all witnessing what was going on, and it's a threat. She's a victim of a man because a man walked across the tarmac to ask reporters to say, hey, she's not answering questions, I will. And then he asked them questions, and they answered. That was the best.
Well,
but
and is it her space if she's not there?
Her plane was closer than his. I don't know.
Does a bear die in the woods and end up in Central Park? I mean, these are just questions, philosophical, just purely philosophical.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I guess the Kennedy campaign is over now. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
from him.
we can turn the lights out on that one, can't we?
Well, getting back to Harris here, that whole thing that, he invaded her space. I mean, my God, it's just
not her space if she's not there.
I mean, it's hilarious because it's as if she's a victim of the man. Mm-hmm. Sorry, but you're in the big leagues now. You're in the big leagues, and here's how we look at it as conservatives. If you're a woman running for president, we are going to treat you exactly the same way that we treat a man. Mm-hmm. No difference. Yeah. Don't cry victimhood or the invasion of your tarmac space.
Hey, why didn't she even consider a woman as a VP? She chose another old white guy.
Well, she might be now.
Give it a couple of days.
This is really fascinating, though, because what is she? This is I sit back and look at this and go, wow, because now they're sort of backed into a corner. That's why I said I gave Trump a B+. And look, he made mistakes. He gets baited all the time by the political activists in the media know this. Bring up crowd size. That'll get him going. And every time Trump does that, I think of the people that follow sports teams, and their team is lost, but they're all just going crazy that the running back averaged 5.4 yards per carry, but they lost the game.
Yeah.
Because that makes no sense to me why Trump is obsessed about that instead of he should have said, I don't care. Let's get to the issue. Now, he did stick to the issues, and he had a great answer on abortion. And he did talk about how they're the radicals. He should have gone after Walz with specifics, but that's okay. At the end of the day, for me, if you've got J.D. Vance out there who last week or this week proved his worth to the campaign, message he was right on. Mm-hmm. And Trump isn't the story for 3 days after he gives a press conference or speech. That's a success for that campaign.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask Trump to rewrite who he is. He's going to be who he is. It's just focus a little more and don't take the ambush questions. And take the ambush questions, deflect them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't engage,
right.
Move on and control what you say. They can't control your answers. They can only control the questions they ask. You can ignore those all day.
What I also find interesting, I want to play this audio cut. I want to play it earlier, but just didn't get the chance. But this is DeSantis talking about Walz. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because, this is all over social media. And this is very effective campaign points that DeSantis is making for Trump and Vance.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They're asking me about this Walz from Minnesota. Here's the thing. As Florida governor, I learn a lot about other states because when people leave those states, they tell me why they left those states. And I remember during COVID, the absolute frustration that people had moving from Minnesota because of how they were being treated. You know, this is a guy that's out there. He's got this line in the stump speech saying, you know, our neighbors can do what they want. Mind your own damn business. Fine. Then why did you set up a snitch hotline for neighbors to report on their neighbors for violating your draconian COVID restrictions? That's not minding your own damn business. That's government overreach. And he'll talk about, things about, he'll say, we should, you make healthcare choices. That's your choice. Fine, great. Then why did you impose a mandate to take an experimental mRNA COVID shot on your people? He did that for all state employees. I don't think it was constitutional. Certainly isn't giving them an option for something that just came on the market. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. And then on it goes about the policies that were done that have given them a net decrease in population.
Well, he's getting ready for 2028.
Sounds like it.
And at the same time, going after the opposition to Trump and Vance. Mm-hmm. And we played a couple of cuts from him this week, and he's been very, very effective.
Yeah, right.
In the statements that he has made, because they go on social media.
Right. Yep.
Especially the left wants to know, is he insulting Trump? It's like, no.
Nope. He would also, if Trump were to win, he would also make a good VP pick for Vance. If Vance runs in 28.
Yeah.
28's a long time away.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
What year are we in now? I'm trying to figure out
how old I'm going to be. So is Kamala Harris's first TV interview.
What, in 2028?
No, it's a long ways away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how long?
It might be in 2028.
How long can it last? Because when she said that, she didn't say, we're working to set one up soon. She said by the end of this month. She just told everyone, we're not going to do a press conference or any type of interview for at least 3 weeks or a month or so. In fact, we're not sure the way she answered it was she just said, we're going to try to set one up by the end of the month, which means we'll make an appointment to set one up. Or
we'll
make an appointment.
One
we'll schedule
by the end of the month.
Exactly.
We don't know when it's actually going to take place. And the problem is, and the issue there is the fact that she can choose any outlet and any reporter or anchor activist that she wants to. Name the network. Name the anchor or reporter you want. And she'll get it. And she can't do that. You have to ask yourself why. Why is it that she has to, with the pool that's traveling with her, that she has to be off the record?
Britt Hume, if Vice President Harris were a confident, competent candidate, well prepared to be president, she would be willing, even eager, to outline her plans and explain herself to journalists. But she is not. She appears afraid. She'll remind people why so many came to regard her as a giggling lightweight.
She knows she's in over her head. I've been saying this from the beginning, and it's true.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, now the Harris campaign has to get to work and ensure that when they do a rally, they have different speeches, like maybe 2 or 3 different speeches that they can sort of move around. Because that's going to go viral today, her saying basically reading the same script at the same pace and pause, where online they actually took the speech in Wisconsin and Detroit and put them together
But what does it tell you? It's not just her that has a lack of confidence. It's her campaign.
It's her campaign, yeah.
They're writing this for her. They're rehearsing this with her. She's in over her head. Full stop. She doesn't have the confidence. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just step out? Yeah, we'll do multiple interviews. You'd be all over.
Yeah,
I mean, back in the day, all weekend, you'd be on all the Sunday morning shows.
If I run for office or you run for office, we're going to tell people exactly
Yes.
why we're running for office.
Right.
Democrats do the exact opposite. They don't want you to know why they're running for office.
Exactly.
Why is that?
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.